one, or the main character, it would be Diego. Diego is a taxi driver, and it's the first person that meets John at the airport here in Mexico City. And after that, when John came to the clinic to remove the cancer, Diego plays himself as a doctor, and the name of this doctor is Dr. Cortez. And this doctor, he's a very professional doctor, because he doesn't even know how to do properly a surgery. And after that, when John knows that he was robbed by us and by Cecilia, we are part of the Cecilia team, he put his famous traps on us. The scam is very, very organized. It's a worldwide scam, and right now we're playing and we're scamming in Mexico. Cecilia has a great and solid team that it's the four of us, and well, basically we have the first part of the payment. Our patients arrive to the clinic. We have a very, very specialized clinic here, so we pretend to operate John's, right? And 100 of people's. And after that, when they notice that they haven't been operated, man, we're done. You don't know where we at. But John, as you know, guys, he's a very smart character. He always knows where you're at. I think that's one of the biggest hits from this Saw film. John doesn't have a vengeance. He's just doing poetic justice, man. In his peculiar way, he has a style to make poetic justice, but I will call it like that. It is very terrifying because suddenly I wake up and I have 2 pipe bombs in my arms. And these pipe bombs are attacked by certain kind of cable that I can cut with a bistury. So I have to take them off through my flesh. So if I don't take them off in a certain amount of time, they will explode. John Kramer is played by Tobin Bell, and one of the things that I learned from, or what I take to this, for me in this movie, is he is a very disciplined actor. He knows his lines. It's an actor who thinks his scenes, and he works from the yes. You can drop a proposition in the action, and he follows you and he strikes back, and it's very interesting and stimulating to work with actors as Tobin, and man, he leads the scene as the big star as he is, and for me, the discipline and the humble, it's 2 things that I really appreciate to work with Tobin. Gabriela is played by Renata Vaca. She's one of my actresses. We share generation in a certain way, and well, working with Renata is always a blast of joy and partying and dancing in the campers and chatting, we couldn't share too much scenes, not even with Renata, Octavio, or Paulette, but I met these 3 before, and it's very happy to share credits with my Mexican friends, and they're such good and prepared talents. This next Saw film is directed by Kevin Reutert, and man, Kevin is awesome. He has all the experience from the previous films, and he knows how to take you to certain places, and he knows what he wants to see. I think it's somebody that understands the language of the Saw universe, and he's very receptive to your propositions as an actor, and that's something that is really joyful and helpful for you, for your process. He's a director who works with the yes, and he's not close to anything, right? And he's very sensitive, and he's very, I remember that he wrote us an email before the movie started shooting here, filming, and he was like, "Man, I'm so happy that you're with us," and that's a nice touch, you know. Like you always appreciate and you always remember those kind of details, you know. And I think it's the best man to. I think he's the best one to direct this film. The traps are back, and that's something good for the fan base, though. And I think we have a few surprises for the fans, like maybe some of the characters could be back or not. So I think it's a good idea to watch the next Saw film.
To see John, I think you're gonna see a John that you haven't, like you have never seen before. So he's dealing with his cancer, and so he's trying to find a way to feel better. And then he meets a guy, and the guy tells him that he has the right fit for him. And so he finds this doctor that's called Dr. Cecilia. And so she tells him that she has an open space in Mexico for him to get better and to do a surgery. And so he comes to Mexico, and the story begins. Yes. I play Gabriela, and she's a girl. She lives in Mexico, and she's part of Cecilia's team, and she helps her getting all the patients better. And so there's where she meets John. John finds out that everything was a lie, and so he goes back to the place where we did the procedure, and then he starts to take one by one of us, and then he starts to play some games with us, and it's so scary and it's so bloody, and yeah. I think what John wants to accomplish with the traps, it's like just, I truly believe he thinks that what he's doing, it's almost like a gift to others, you know? Like, I'm giving you this second chance to really appreciate life and like really appreciate what you have in a very crazy way. But I truly believe that he's like super into what he's saying, and like, yeah, I think that's why he does it that way. Like, it has to be painful so that you learn. Tobin Bell, who plays John Kramer. I mean, I think everyone knows who John Kramer is and who Billy the Puppet is. It's like, even if you haven't seen the movie, it's just like, you know who he is. So for me, I was very excited to get to meet him and to work with him. And so when I got on set, the first, even when we were doing the reading of the script, I was just mesmerized on how he takes things. Like, he really cares about it, you know? And you can see that every time when you're on set with him, like, even if they say cut, he doesn't cut. Like, he's there and he's thinking about things, and he looks at you, and it's like he looks at you and you're like, I don't want to play a game, please don't, please don't. So it's amazing. And he's also a very, like, he really makes you feel safe, and he loves he loves to care about the little details. Shawnee Smith, she plays Amanda, and I mean, she's an incredible person. Like, she's not just an amazing actress, but she's an amazing person. And from the first moment, I mean, it's cool because our characters are like kind of this mirror in a way. So she has like a special connection with my character and mine, of course, with hers. But she's just so sensible. Like, the way she lives life, like, you can see her, like, even when she's on the makeup track and she's like having fun with everyone and talking, she's like so funny, and she's like so sweet. And I remember the day I met her, she just came to me and she was like, this is something important for my character, and this is something important for us. And like, she just looked at me and smiled at me, and she was like so sweet, and she grabbed my face and she was like, you're so good. And I was like, okay, I love you already. So yeah, she's an amazing person and also an amazing actress. Cecilia is played by Shinobi, and she's this, I mean, I'm just amazed on how gorgeous she is. She's so gorgeous, and she's so amazing, and she's so funny, but I think she has her own way to be funny, because she's like, she can be like this person, she looks at you and she talks, and we've been like the whole during the shooting of the movie, we like when we didn't have anything to do, we were just like talking. We started talking about life and about love and about relationships. Like we love to do that. But I think she brings something super powerful to the character, because she has this energy and this presence whenever she's on set and she's saying things. Like it's just like you just have to look at her. So I'm really, really grateful to be working with her. The director of this movie is Kevin Gurtert, and he's lovely. He's lovely. He's just this movie and the Saw movies are some hard movies to watch in a way because of all of the blood and the traps and everything. And I think that energy on set needs someone who's like chill, and that someone that makes you feel safe. And I think that that's what Kevin is. I think that he knows what he wants, and so he's like super, like he talks to you and he makes you feel, as I said, he makes you feel like safe and calm. And I think that's very important, because like it's not just a regular movie, like you're doing some crazy things and you're like giving your all, talking about your emotions, and like you're there like super exposed in a way, and he really makes you feel like, okay, don't worry, we got you. And I think he's super talented, and I think that he really understands the Saw movies and what people wants to see and what he wants to see, and I think that he's the perfect piece to get all this together. He's an amazing director. I think it takes everything a fan could ask for. Like I think the characters, the traps, everything is just like what people want to see. And there's a lot of blood, and I think it's a very
Kramer. He has been a civil engineer and an architect for almost 40 years. And what interests me about him is that he is interested in many, many, many things from a point of view of philosophy, theology. He's extremely well-read, very intelligent, and very committed, unlike many of us who look around us and complain about the world or some aspect of the world but do nothing. He does something. Whether you agree with what he does or not is another subject entirely. It's my job to flush him out, to be on his side, and to draw audiences in to the thought process. Traps. John doesn't view them that way. He views them as test situations. And I know it's easy and convenient because they are as terrifying as they are to think of them as traps. He doesn't. Everyone has an opportunity to win the game and to succeed. John's a magician in a certain way. Sometimes what you see is not what you get with him. So let's assume, though, that what you saw in Saw 3 was actually happening. Then we've had to create moments at different points in time. This one, I would say, happens somewhere between Saw 1, Saw 2, somewhere in that zone. Amanda is John's apprentice, and like any apprentice, good apprentice, the apprentice wants to learn the trade of a skilled craftsman from the ground up. And that's what Amanda Young does. John, she successfully won her game back at the beginning of Saw. And I don't know if you know Amanda's background, but she had a drug problem and was somewhat of a problematic, struggling with her life. And John kind of got her on this track where she was living on the street for a while, but he gave her a room off of his workshop, and she has been there to help him on many occasions. I think what John likes about her is that he's been able to corral her and pull her in and get her to use her amazing strength and energy in a more focused way and in a less self-destructive way. Shawnee Smith developed the character at the beginning, Saw 1, and she is very important in John's life. When they cast her in the role that she's cast in, I took one look at her and I was like, oh my God, she is perfect. And she has been. Kevin Greutert is directing this film with very strong credentials. He comes from editing, has been involved with Saw since the beginning, edited and directed. He's edited most of the Saw films, directed a few of them, so nobody knows Saw the way Kevin knows Saw. And he brings, I did another film with Kevin, a previous Saw film with Kevin, but I've gotten to know him more in this because I'm in so much of this film. So we've had I've gotten to have a working relationship with him, a deeper working relationship with Kevin. He's very detail-oriented. He's very shot-oriented, very edit-oriented. He knows what the shot he needs and wants because he knows how to make this film cut together so it has impact. And that's a marvelous thing. It all starts with the writing. And the script for this particular film is very strong. Perhaps one of the strongest Saw films. Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger did a marvelous job, and when I first read the script, I was very impressed with it, and it was in very, very good shape, very tight, and the casting has been wonderful, so we have a good film here. We've been able to create a layer in the Saw films that make people think. Not only is it a rollicking roller coaster ride of amazing special effects and situations and surprises and twists and turns, but we've been able to raise some subjects that make people go, oh, that's what he's, and when you contrast a moment like that with what else is going on in the film, and all of a sudden this unexpected moment happens where people go, oh, the moment resonates.
Fun to be able to come all the way back to the beginning, but leave that to the creators, writers, and fans. I mean, anything can happen with this in the Saw world. Even this, 18 years later, it's crazy. But it's a powerful, the story's compelling, and the fans are just like, the Saw fans, next level. What's super exciting about this for the true fans is that you have John and Amanda, which, like the idea of the the male and female of Jigsaw is super interesting. Everybody dies at the end of 3. So, you know, how many flashbacks can you have? And then someone had the genius idea to go back to this time and, like, I mean, it's like unreal. I play Amanda Young, and she's very smart. She's been wounded, and John Kramer brings her back to life, kind of like a doll that's been turned off, you know? She gets brought back to life, and she loves him, like, wholeheartedly. And that's amazing and terrifying and torture for someone like Amanda. John comes to Mexico City in search of cancer treatment. You know, not FDA approved cancer treatment. And for someone like John Kramer to pursue that, it must be compelling, you know. He does his research. And there's a moment he realizes that he's been duped, and it's really hard for someone like John Kramer. You know, his hope clouded his vision a little, and the game was pretty, you know, their racket was pretty compelling, but it's devastating for him and really pisses me off. It's hard for Amanda because she loves John so much, and to see him hurt like that and vulnerable like that, there's a battle cry in there, but at the same time, you can't forsake that philosophy, you know, that like every human being deserves a chance. And he's in the business of saving souls. And she's in that business enough, you know, he really does plan on her continuing this work of his. And he wouldn't give that to her if he didn't think she could do it or that she believed in it. And so that is bigger than the anger until at a certain point, you know, then you see like there's no redemption for several characters. But still, everybody deserves a chance. And that's how he rolls. Tobin Bell plays John Kramer, and that is just the luckiest thing that happened to the Saw franchise. Because from day one, the body on the floor, he was meticulous. I mean, he is scientific. He's scientific about his work, but then he's just like, pours his heart into, but he's worked out. And he was that, but he insisted on being the body on the floor in part 1. I still don't know exactly how they came to him, but I just know that thank God they did. I mean, it was probably meant to be, but that was definitely because he's such a big part of the longevity of this franchise. Kevin G is directing this film. It's really fun to work with him on this. they couldn't have hired a better director, because imagine like everything this man has to hold in his head all day long, like 18 years of details. But he's the right man for the job. You know, if anyone could hold all that in his head and be editing while he's filming this, it's him. This has been so many years now of conventions and meeting the fans of Amanda. There are like generations of them now. I just started calling them this past year the tribe of Amandas, because they're very similar. They're all super smart and super like tender-hearted but strong, and they connect with each other, and I love them so much, and I love Amanda, and it's like I never would have thought that I could come back 18 years later and like, because I do, like I hold all of them and her in my heart, and it's like I get to come back and like sing a love song to these young women, including the young woman I'm playing. But it's like, what an unreal opportunity. Leave it to the Saw world.